You boys ready to do a podcast?
I'm ready. I was taken aback by your facial expression.
I don't know. That's just my face, CJ. That's very rude. Very rude.
Very shocked by your face.
It's horrible. It's hurtful. Hurtful words.
They say that the most expressive. What was that? Most expressive muscle is the face. What is that from?
It's Empire Strikes Back. Yoda. It's Yoda's final lesson before Luke leaves Dagobah to confront his father and save his friends.
Oh, which?
You're not my real dad.
They say the most expressive muscle is the face. Remember that? And then Vader's like, "Oh, I remember. I remember when Yoda taught me that when I was at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant."
When I was Jake Lloyd.
Nah, this was back when he was older than Jake Lloyd, but before he became Hayden Christensen.
Sounds like an awkward phase.
That
I don't remember what show that's from. It's from some show. It's the most expressive part of the body.
Yeah, they say the most expressive part of the
Sounds like
body.
something from The Big Bang Theory.
No.
I know you're a big fan.
Yeah. He's a big banger, they call themselves.
I can't watch that show.
It goes to BangCon every year.
Yeah.
I find that show terribly.
Wait, this isn't about the TV show. That's what all those trips to Vegas were for. But he keeps going back anyway.
I dressed up as Sheldon for nothing.
Well, not nothing.
Or did I?
Nothing.
CJ can't watch Big Bang Theory now that he's a young Sheldon purist.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, golly.
Hello and welcome to episode 761 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going there, sir?
Pretty good. Excited that the new Loki series is starting this week.
Oh, that's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right. We, Dana and I finished up our big rewatch of the MCU.
Of all the MCU films.
We
Nice.
we rewatched all the films, yes.
So, did you watch, or you've watched the Disney Plus series?
Of course.
Did you didn't bother to rewatch those? That's pretty fresh.
Yeah, I mean, we watched WandaVision when it came on, and we watched Falcon.
But then the question is,
yes,
did you or would you consider rewatching the Netflix MCU stuff?
We didn't watch all of that. We barely watched any of that. We barely watched any of that. Well, because technically not MCU.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Not anymore? Because it was.
Never was. It never was. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Netflix stuff was kind of in the peripherals, but the filmmakers paid zero attention to those when they were crafting their stories. And
okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. They spun off of existing.
Yeah, I mean,
they do take place in the same universe.
They're in that, but strictly canon speaking, they are not canon to the films. So events of the films can contradict those. Yeah.
So what happens if one of those rumors comes true though, and one of those like say one of them reprises a role in a future MCU film?
Because it sounds like Daredevil's going to show up at some point. And it's going to be what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was amazing as Daredevil.
I've heard he was. I heard he was quite good. I would imagine that does not retroactively make the Daredevil series.
I imagine it can't anyway, because Cottonmouth from the first Luke Cage series is Blade.
Blade, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's no good.
We watched. What did we watch? We watched most of the first season of Jessica Jones. We watched
just the first season of Jessica Jones was the best one.
Yeah,
I think everything.
Out of all of it. Yeah,
yeah. You watched it because of David Tennant, didn't you?
Well, I mean, it didn't hurt.
Yeah,
didn't hurt. But Kristen Ritter, is that her name?
Yep, she was fantastic.
She's great. Well, she was great in. She was great in Breaking Bad.
I never saw Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
That's a good series.
Breaking Bad's good. It's not as funny as Malcolm in the Middle. You might be like, Dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
I'm more of a,
he's a youngster.
Yeah.
But
I'm more of an anti-dentite, so I didn't want to watch Breaking Bad anyway.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
There you go.
That's a good show, though.
Dr.
I
Watley.
need to watch. I still haven't watched Better Call Saul.
I haven't either.
Which I
Neither
want
have I.
because
But you did see his movie, right? His recent movie. Phil's Frozen.
We've lost Phil.
Yep. It's too bad because we were having good discussion about. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
I'm back. Did I freeze up?
You did.
Well, I was
Stop
saying
all
hi.
the downloading.
I was well. I got a lot of illicit torrents going at the moment.
That's how they did the rewatch of the MCU.
Yeah.
Even though they have a Disney Plus membership, doesn't matter. It's like,
I don't
for
care.
old time's sake, let's just download all of them.
On LimeWire too. So
LimeWire.
no, I'm getting a lot of viruses and stuff popping up.
Great.
Yeah, I'm paying for the Disney Plus thing, but nah, this is.
Still want to stick it to them.
Let's take that, Hollywood. But no, I was saying I haven't watched Better Call Saul yet, which is odd because I love Bob Odenkirk so much.
Yeah,
that's what. So I forget the name of his most recent movie.
Nobody.
Yeah, did you watch that?
I absolutely did. It was
great.
Quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, you should. I recommend watching some of the Netflix series.
Yeah.
They are quite good. Like all the Daredevil seasons are really good.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, all of them really good. The first one's the best.
Yeah.
The second season of Iron Fist is actually quite good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We watched probably about half of the. Are there multiple seasons of Luke Cage? We watched like half.
Two seasons of Luke Cage.
We watched about half the first season of that.
Luke Cage was good for the first half because of Cottonmouth.
Okay.
And then that's about it.
Yeah.
And Defenders it's got good moments because they're all there, right?
What's the fella's name who plays Luke Cage? Because he was really good. I liked him a lot. I forget his name.
He was perfect for that role though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I recommend watching them. I did a rewatch of them a couple years ago, and they hold up.
Okay.
I think because of the fact that they're not strictly canon, they can still exist anyway, right? Nothing's been done that's made them not fit in any way. So
right.
Okay. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr.
Oh, geez, it's me. That's right. That's me. I'm me.
Yeah,
I'm me over here.
Newly rebooted,
feeling rebooted and tooted.
There you go.
That's a fart joke.
Yeah,
make any sense?
How's everything by you?
Fine.
Yeah,
fine. Why? What have you heard?
We had a little bit of we had temperatures in the 80s.
Good Lord.
Week, and they had to issue like warm weather warning,
warning
suggestions.
Maybe wear shorts.
Maybe wear shorts.
They're calling for a heat wave here this week, and our kids just went back to school this past Thursday, and they still all have to wear masks.
Oh,
and our schools don't have air conditioning.
Uh-oh.
So that might suck.
Yeah,
that's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Well, pack a water bottle. Pack a water bottle. You can refresh yourself. Hydrate.
Anyway.
Hydrate. Yeah,
you should do that.
Anyway. Do that anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, good. But we'll remember to do it. Is my point. Don't forget.
Gotta hydrate.
Slack.
All right.
What?
E3 is coming up. It's the
geese are getting fat. Won't you please put a penny in Jeff Keighley's hat?
No, that's different.
What?
Oh, he's not E3.
Oh,
that's Summer of Games, which is this Thursday.
That's right.
This Thursday.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So I guess that's not technically E3, but it's E3 time.
Well, you're not allowed to say the word Canada or Canadian at E3 now. So
how come? What happened? What did you guys
do?
Do
That?
No. If I hear Canada,
this is secondhand.
Just shuts right off.
This is secondhand.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice story, but apparently people realized that Canadian was a word that is one of the banned words for E3 because it's being used as a euphemism for by racists in some southern states to mean black person.
What?
Yeah. Go look it up.
Oh.
Now there's a lot
This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
There's a lot I don't understand about racism and racists. But so it's like we want to insult black people,
So
we're
that
just going to say
you're not heard
Canadian?
saying the N-word.
Oh,
So you
So you
refer
say
to them as a
Canadian.
Canadian.
it's like when I stub my toe here at the house and I don't want to swear in front of Finn. I'll say like,
Cheese and crackers.
well, usually what I'll do, it depends on what I'm
Shut
about.
the front door.
Usually it depends. It depends. I will either default to shark
Shark. Okay.
or
Doot,
fart.
doot, 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 doot.
Or fart. If I'm about to let slip an F-bomb, I'll fart. You know, that kind of thing.
Have you ever seen Last Man on Earth? This,
I haven't.
Will Forte's character
I know,
says,
no.
"Oh, farts a lot."
Oh, well, there you go.
So, anyway.
So that's what they say instead of the N-word.
Apparently,
All right.
Jesus.
I don't understand your country.
I live here and I don't understand it.
I don't understand. I don't understand
all right.
that. Okay.
Well, anyway.
Anyway, the Summer of Games or whatever Jeff Keighley's thing is this Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Okay.
And then we have press conferences starting on the weekend and going into next week where things kind of wrap up with Nintendo's digital event.
Oh,
so
right,
they're
right.
doing a 40-minute broadcast and then a 3-hour sort of Nintendo Treehouse.
Treehouse.
Oh, wow. Like a Treehouse Live.
So
kind
that's
of thing.
exciting. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I always really enjoy those.
I'm excited.
I always really enjoy those. Those are fun.
Yeah.
So, of course, Nintendo Switch Pro rumors still going on. Hasn't happened yet, but allegedly before.
But
E3,
hey,
who knows?
if we keep saying it's going to happen tomorrow, eventually we'll be right.
That's right. Eventually, people.
I mean,
will
they
be
have to
right.
make a new system at
On a
some
long
point,
enough timeline.
I, I do
correct.
love when there's a rumor like this and people find the entry in like some Amazon region that nobody actually like shops in.
Like Canada?
There's like Amazon Canada has a listing for something or yeah. That's always the way it is. Like Amazon.dk or something has
That stands for
listing.
Donkey Kong.
for Switch Pro.
That means there's a new Donkey Kong game
Or
coming out.
Amazon.it or something like that.
That means it. That means
Like
this is going to be
Pennywise.
it. It's got that it factor
Pennywise.
that
Jesus.
Hollywood loves so much.
Indeed. Yeah. But it hasn't happened yet. So maybe this week we'll.
Pennywise is the evil clown from that Stephen King
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
novel.
Thanks, Phil.
So
last week,
miniseries /
We had a couple of
Hollywood
PlayStation
film.
things hit because, of course, Sony not involved in E3 at all. So it kind of got out
Probably
in front
didn't want
of
to pay for a booth, right?
that in this digital. Yeah, E3 they didn't want to.
So
pay
they,
for a booth.
like I said before, they should call it E2. We're missing the third E.
We are. That's true. So we got a Q&A with Herman Hulst.
for
And there were a
everyone.
couple of really interesting points in here. First of all, the God of War game that was at last year's showcase. That's now going to be a 2022 game.
Okay.
On not saying a Horizon Forbidden West date, he says that he thinks they're on track for release this holiday, but it's not certain yet, so they didn't want to say anything
Right.
yet. All right.
Okay.
Then answering all sorts of PlayStation fanboy concerns, he said that releasing games on PC will not come ever at the expense of building an exciting lineup of great console games.
However, releasing games on PS4 will come at the expense of PS5 games showing up on time.
Well,
Sorry, was that the second part of the quote? Or?
no, that wasn't the second part of the
Okay,
quote
it was
at
the
all.
unspoken part of the quote.
What do you guys think about that? The PS4, PS5 thing? 'Cause
I
I don't care, honestly.
I gotta say, I mean, I don't care. I don't. But you know, between the amount of just it seems like there's a lot more PS4 games coming out than PS5 games, and it kind of
Maybe
feels
if people could find a PS5,
well, that's I see. I'm wondering if that's
there is that.
is that kind of it.
I think that absolutely has something to
and-
do with it.
And then it's kind of the same thing with the Xbox, right? Like you see a lot of Xbox Series X games come out, and it's just like, oh, it's kind of an Xbox.
But
One game too.
Microsoft said up front that they were going to do that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It just
Where Sony
Well,
didn't. Sony said up front, "We believe in generations."
that quote is going to
That's going to haunt them.
It
the
seems like
next-
maybe they don't.
this entire generation.
Yeah.
So sorry to go back to your question though. Like I personally don't care either.
Yeah.
But I was talking to your best friend Mike's best friend Jim yesterday, and he made a really good point, which is the thing that bothers him about it isn't so much the delays, but
Mhm.
that the games won't be made to take full advantage of the PS5. In his opinion, right? Like little things like big open world games, like we see this a lot, like really big 3D games. You every now and or fairly frequently, you get the little corridors that you have to
Right.
slowly shuffle through
The
that are
little
clearly
loading
hiding
corridors,
loading,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, if this, he was using that as an example, feeling like, well, if it was built from the ground up for the PS5 and not having to worry about working on the PS4. That maybe stuff like that wouldn't happen as frequently. And that's a really good point. I never really considered that, but I think that he's absolutely right. So, I mean, I don't know that the outrage is warranted, because when is it ever? But
There's a
that
lot
is
to
a
be
legitimate
angry
point.
about video games. And
Yeah.
we should always, as gamers, we should always be furious.
Well, we're,
Furious about everything, right?
About everything. Yeah. The games, the game creators.
Oh, especially the game and the games press. Don't even get me started.
Ugh, yeah.
Lazy developers.
Those podcasters.
Lazy developer. Podcasters are great.
Yeah, nothing wrong with podcasters. I mean, come on.
Some of them.
I don't know.
I enjoy at least 2 out of the 3 podcasters on my screen at this moment.
There we go.
It's so sad to see so much self-hate these days.
There you go.
You have no idea.
And then answering the sort of question about Japanese developers and the importance of, Japan game development in the PlayStation library and catalog.
Right.
He referred to Team Asobi, who is now official as its own entity, and Polyphony Digital, plus the external teams that they've worked with as part of their Japan efforts, like From Software and From Software.
Right.
No, Kojima Productions.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
So kind of answering a little bit of that, I think maybe this Herman Hulst Q&A is maybe a month late, like when all of those things were really concerns that happened a while ago, but still good to get this out before E3.
Sure.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, Team Asobi now is official, and hopefully they're working on something new. I hope in addition,
I'll play anything they make.
If they do something for like the next generation VR headset, I hope they're also working on like a full Astrobot platform, along with that, like, or they're doing multiple projects at once, because that would be great.
Yeah.
Much as I like VR, I also
the Astrobot games have been pretty okay.
They have. They've been great. Yeah,
I like them.
So Yuji Naka is apparently no longer at Square Enix.
Yeah.
And left in April.
Yeah.
After Balan Wonderworld shipped.
Yeah.
And apparently is talking about he might retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is his company? I haven't followed him in a long time.
Probe.
His company's Probe, is that doesn't exist anymore?
I don't think so.
See, I thought that maybe they just developed this game for Square Enix. I didn't realize he was a Square Enix employee.
The Balan team.
Yeah, or so I don't know.
Yeah.
This yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I haven't played much that he's done for years now.
It's been a long time.
All I know is that fishing game that Prope made for the 3DS was outstanding.
Really That's absolutely.
The last thing I remember about him and Prope was that game that you put the controller on the cardboard box.
Yes, Let's Tap.
Let's Tap.
Let's Tap. Future tapping game.
That's all I remember of them.
Let's Tap.
I never played it.
You never played Let's Tap?
Never played Let's Tap.
Let's Tap was pretty darn fun. I actually really liked Let's Tap.
It was an interesting idea for sure.
I'm actually shocked you didn't play that, CJ. That totally seems like a game that would
seems
be right
like something
up your
you
alley.
would play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's Tap is kind of your thing. You should track down a copy of Let's Tap.
Feels right. That is kind of
I
your
am.
thing.
I am.
No. don't
And I
think
know
so.
you love cardboard.
Yep.
You probably
You're a
got
big cardboard proponent.
you can put it on your Labo piano
Right.
and
Oh.
tappa all day
Tappa,
long,
tappa,
man.
tappa. Yeah.
Mhm.
I do like drumming my fingers.
There you
I'm
go.
like,
That's all that is. That's all
yeah.
that is.
That's the whole game right there.
Yep.
I really never remember playing Billy Hatcher. I was more impressed by the Billy Hatcher soundtrack and the T-shirt than the game itself. Like, I just
See, I think
game
that's the
itself
problem.
was
I love the
very-
promotional T-shirt they sent to the press, but the game is
Yeah, I mean the character design, the art style, etc. Like I liked that stuff, but the game
You know?
itself just was not very good.
Yeah, I
did not
couldn't get
enjoy the
into
game.
I couldn't get into Billy Hatcher either.
Yeah,
The
same here.
aesthetic was fine. The
Oh, no, it looked-
gameplay
it looked-
itself bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, Yuji Naka, I hope he teams up with Keiji Inafune and they both come back and make a good game after slight failures. See what they can make, even if they made something like that fishing game. What?
That fishing game was good.
That fishing game was good.
Fishing game was-
All right, so Nintendo is opening a museum in Japan. They're turning part of their old playing card factory into a
Wow.
museum, which
That's
is pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, in the city of Uji.
Do they still have the machinery that they use to
I
make the
imagine they
cards?
do. This is going to be covering
Oh.
their entire history, so I
Oh.
imagine we will see
Oh, I
playing
would.
card machinery.
Yeah,
And
let's
they
go
still
there.
make playing cards. I don't know if you know.
I was
that.
gonna say,
do they still
do that?
make playing
They
cards?
they do. They do still make they make the cards, yeah.
I
That's
have a
pretty
deck
awesome.
of Nintendo playing cards somewhere.
I
storage.
have a couple decks of cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Some they're gonna be having a tour of the museum. Some kid's gonna fall into one of the machines and get turned into a deck of cards, and it's gonna be a tragedy.
It's gonna be like the
Why are you
Miyamoto's
laughing?
gonna be the Willy Wonka. I'm just imagining
Like a conveyor belt with a
Miyamoto.
bunch of packs of cards are gonna come out, and one pack is just gonna have like some kid's little hat sitting next to it, and my son,
Disturbing.
it's the
He's-
ghost of Hiroshi
he's-
Yamauchi
these
is gonna come out.
cards now.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad deal to me.
Hmm. Oh, I get it. I get it.
There it is.
For those of you listening, you didn't see the finger guns.
There
you go.
Yeah, yeah.
That is an important.
I'm lucky we're not doing this live, or you guys would have decked me for that bad joke.
Remember when Phil didn't have any audio or video before we started the show?
Yeah, that was a good time.
That
there.
That
Good
was
times. Good
But anyway,
times.
so construction of
You guys are gonna club me
the
if I don't watch myself.
tentatively named Nintendo Gallery
Oh,
is going to be it'll be completed within the 2023 fiscal year, which ends in March 2024. So there you go. There you have
all
it.
right then.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
I would love to go
a
see that.
Nintendo museum.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool.
I don't imagine going to Japan anytime soon, but I would love to see that.
They're having the Olympics here in like 2 months, right? Probably not.
Are
right?
they?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that'll end up happening.
Boy, I am kicking myself. When I was in Tokyo in 2019, I was there summer 2019 was when I was there, and I'd go into a store and they would have just a crap ton of Olympic merchandise, little plushies of the mascots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was so tempted to buy some of that stuff, and
2020.
I passed. Yeah, for the 2020 Olympics, and now I'm kicking myself. I wish I had.
I think
there
the
you go.
branding is still 2020, though,
It
Is it?
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
which I think would make stuff like that a little less interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Although,
So.
I mean, there'll always be the story that they didn't take place in 2020.
Right.
Mhm, mhm.
So how's that going to work? So if they have the Olympics, what next? Are they
I
supposed
have no
to
idea.
have them this year?
Yeah.
No, they're supposed to have them. Yeah, they're going to
Well, I
have
mean,
them this year.
Yes, they're going to
Yeah.
have them this year. So
But I think
will
they still will have them in 2024.
okay, they're not going to like.
I don't know how you could possibly move it away because the
Yeah, all
host
the
cities
cities
are
and stuff,
preparing for it
yeah.
for so long.
Yeah, that's that.
Well, and
that
the
would
Winter
have to-
Olympics start in 2022 as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Now, how about the California
my God.
games?
oh, those happen anytime you have your Atari Lynx out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Get my hacky sack.
That was the worst part of that game.
The hacky.
Who the hell
I
even
love.
knows how you were supposed to do that?
I was good at the hacky sack
No.
part, man.
Were you?
You
I
time
never-
it just right. You could bounce it off your head and knock a seagull out of the sky. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway,
Uh-huh.
I think we should get into what you've been playing. So, Greg, why don't you kick us off?
Lots of old stuff. So I think I mentioned last week I finally finished Phantasy Star 2,
Yes, you did.
which I was streaming on Tuesday nights. So I moved on to a new game on Tuesday nights, and I'm playing the Saboteur
Oh.
Without the
PlayStation
nudity, because we
3
talked about
game
that
without
last
the nudity. Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
Which is okay. Yeah, it's just it's an open world game. It's Pandemic Studios' final game.
Mhm.
About a Grand Prix driver who became a spy in Nazi-occupied France during World War II, very loosely based on the life of a real Grand Prix driver who
Really?
was a spy for the
Wow.
for British intelligence. William Grover Williams was his name. Yeah, so it's cool. I remember the game being really good. I remember playing probably about 6 or 7 hours of it. I think it's about a 20-hour game back when it came out, which was a long time ago now. It holds up pretty well. It's an older open world game, so it doesn't feel quite as refined now as something like that would today. Especially when you get into chases and things like that, where you're like there's a scene very early on where you travel from I think Italy to Germany for a race, and then you are chased out of Germany. It's actually a pretty cool scene. You're chased out of Germany just as the Nazis are invading France, is what's supposed to be happening. So you're fleeing to France at the same time that they're invading. So you see giant squadrons of fighters flying through the sky and everything as you're driving, and it's all like very cool, a very cinematic scene. But because of the AI chasing you, if you get hit, you're turned around and you're just mauled by like 4 vehicles, and it's really hard to get going, and it sort of takes the tension they're trying to build out of the scene. But all that being said,
the game that's in black and white.
Yes.
Am I remembering right?
Well, that was one of the coolest things about the game is that it's mostly played in black and white, or at least very, very subdued colors, while you're in Paris for the most part, and it's been occupied by the Nazis at this point. So the only bright color you see ever is red,
right?
And that's how you know that you're near an occupied area. And then when you drive the Nazis out of an area, that area is awash in color after that.
Okay. Yeah,
so it's sort of you get an idea of the areas you've liberated based on that. It was a very cool idea, and it's such a shame that it was their final game because it was really well done. And I find there's really nothing like it, at least not with the historical context that it has.
Yeah.
So overall,
you're saying that Assassin's Creed doesn't have historical context, Greg.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hop in
that's
your
what I'm playing.
Animus.
What's that?
Hop in your Animus and go back to the past.
Hop in your Animus. The other thing that I streamed this week, Phil, and I thought of you obviously while I was doing it, was Mega Man Powered Up on the PSP. I do. Mega Man Powered Up on the PSP.
Hey, that's a great game.
Because we had just been talking about it, right?
We have
a while ago.
Yep.
I hadn't played it since I played through it when it came out, which again is longer ago than I care to admit at this point.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten about the fact that like you can play the original layouts with the new graphics or a remixed version. I'd forgotten there were 2 new bosses. Like I'd forgotten a lot about that game. So but it's still, man, it still holds up. And it was funny because a lot of the people in the stream who had never seen it.
Oh, wow, really?
We had so many people saying like, man, this would kill if you remade it and released it on like a digital service right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would kill.
I mean, I know port begging for Switch is kind of passe.
My
yeah, but it would be great on Switch. It would be a really great game on Switch.
And I mean, you could, it does look its age,
Yeah.
but it's still, because of the art style, it still holds up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't think you would need to really do much to it to release it.
No.
God, it's just adorable.
It is.
And it plays really well.
Cute. And you can play as like all the bosses.
Well, that was
Remember
the thing that I'd forgotten, right? Because I still had a save file on there, so I could like play as Cutman and Gutsman, and
Right.
because if you if you beat those bosses using just your Mega Buster, you were able to recruit them.
Yes.
And it's cute because, like, unlike the original Mega Man, which on the NES, which when you started it up, you just bust right into the title screen, and there's no story. The story was in the manual, right? But the whole story was that Dr. Wily converted the good robots that I think he and Dr. Light together had created, which I always loved, because when you look at the robots in the first Mega Man, they all have sort of practical purposes for the most part too. So I just thought it was really cute. So that's all done through a big cinema, and it's fully voiced. And if you start the game as one of the other robots, they literally just swap out Mega Man's role as the good robot that Wily felt wasn't worth stealing.
Right.
They swap it out. So like, and it's so cute. Even things like they have their own personalities. Like Cutman calls everybody Mister. Whenever he speaks to them, he seems very shy, and he's like, even when like he fights Gutsman, he's like, Mr. Gutsman, what are you doing? Like, it's just it's extremely cute.
Yeah, no, it's a cute little game.
It's such a shame it's locked on the PSP.
I know.
There's there's literally no other way to play it outside of emulation, and it's such a shame.
I don't know if you remember this. I designed a DLC level for that game.
That's right, because there's a level editor in there too.
Yeah,
right.
Well, there's a level. Well, but I designed an official DLC.
Oh yeah, that's
level.
right.
Yeah, because it's got a level editor, and you could swap levels online. But Capcom would occasionally put out like official DLC levels. It was like, like, oh, here's a super challenging Cutman stage. Here's a super challenging Elecman stage, that kind of thing. They also reached out to a couple outlets, like, press outlets, and was like, hey, if someone there designs a level, we will put it into the game as official DLC, and we'll like put your outlet's logo in the background of the stage and stuff like that. And there is one for Game Informer, I believe. There is one for New Type USA, which I
did freelance for that magazine.
As did I. I believe someone here used to work there.
Yeah, me. It was me.
It was you. It was you.
I can't remember who did the level though.
Were you there when that happened?
I believe so. Right? Yeah. I can't remember who did the level.
Was it Kevin Gifford, maybe? Or
I would think that would have been who it was, but
yeah.
But
I was at GameSpy at the time, so I designed the GameSpy level.
And
which is so fitting for Mega Man when you consider that a lot of their bosses were created by kids sending in submissions.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happened with the first game, but after that,
right.
Anyway, yeah. Such a shame that's locked away on the PSP.
It's a fun little game.
So
the
good.
controls great.
You
know?
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those rare cases where converting an old 2D game to a 3D game didn't have a majorly negative effect on the gameplay.
Right.
Well,
the first time I played that was at Tokyo Game Show. Like the year it came out or something. I'd gone to TGS for GameSpy, and I played it there, and I interviewed Inafune, who was the producer of the game, and then oh gosh, who was actually the director? I forget who directed it. But I played it on the show floor and was surprised at how like this muscle memory clicking into action. Just like I was kind of plowing through the demo just because my muscle memory was still timed perfectly with this remake. They did such a fine job of it. So
yeah. By the way, I just want to say to the chat, hi Regan. He just said hello, so I want to say hello back.
Hi Regan.
And there's Phil saying hello too. And then the other game that I've started playing this week is Wargroove. I went back and finally started to play
Oh,
Wargroove.
yeah.
Played an hour or so of that. I don't really have much to say about it. Just to say that I started playing it again, and I think I got into the end of the first chapter when I played it the first time. And boy, that game's really good. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed it when I first played. I don't know why I put it down. I must have been playing something else when it came out because it's basically oh my god, the name just completely escaped
Advance
me.
Wars.
Thank you, Advance Wars. It's basically Advance Wars, and it's just awesome. It's so good. Really, really enjoying it, and finally unlocking different things. Like I'm finally into stages that are using Fog of War and stuff like that, and taking over cities and taking over barracks, and it's like I like it for the same reasons that I liked Advance Wars, where it's got a lot of depth, but you're not dealing with dozens of really arcane systems that you have to keep track of, especially the way I play things where I'll put them down for a few days and then pick them back up again. And I just don't maintain all that information, and it's just super easy to sort of check the units and see exactly what they're effective against. It's all rock, paper, scissors, and just pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's and the presentation is fantastic too, obviously. So yeah, there's not really much else to say about it. Wargroove's great. If you haven't played Wargroove, go play it. It's a little old now, but that means it's probably cheap.
Yeah. It's on everything too.
And it's on everything. I'm playing it on my Xbox. So
Nice.
All right.
Still works.
Phil,
Yeah.
what do you got for us?
Well, I started playing. I think I mentioned I got this last week, but I started playing Earth Defense Force World Brothers on the Nintendo Switch. The latest Earth Defense Force game, the game about killing a bunch of giant ants. This is the more cutesy one. It's the one that has all the kind of Minecraft looking voxelized graphics.
Yeah.
Like a mock.
So does this
Uh,
mean that this EDF entry is more geared towards a younger audience?
It is absolutely more geared towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
This is EDF through a kind of kid filter. This is like the Lego games
VF Kids.
of the EDF series.
Okay.
There's it's a fair bit easier, it seems. Not that I'm terribly far into it, but it does seem a little easier. It is the missions are a fair bit shorter. Some of the EDF missions can kind of go on for a while. They can kind of drag out.
They tend to drag. Yes,
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
This one, yeah, they're definitely shorter missions. The area you have in which to maneuver, that each stage seems a little smaller, a little more compressed. And yeah, the it's kind of cutesy and sillier just in its sense of humor. There's you have like the characters cracking jokes and stuff like that, just making silly little comments and breaking the fourth wall and things like that. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's a cute little game. One of the new gimmicks is that you have a party that you can take control of. You can have up to 4 people, because usually it's you running around shooting bugs, and there are NPC characters on your squad that kind of follow around, but they don't really do it. They're just there for window dressing. They're not actually effective in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But this, yeah, you have a squad of up to 4 characters, and you can go around killing bugs, and you can switch between them at any time you want. And it's kind of nice because you can have, the thing about EDF is you have different classes. You have like the Rangers, who are just like the shooty guys, and they have like the I forget what they're called, but like the big tank guys, like the slow but strong kind of guys. You have the wing divers, who are the ladies who can, they have jetpacks so they can fly around and stuff like that. And normally in the regular games, you pick one, and that's what you have for an entire mission. Whereas this one, now you can have multiple classes on your team. So it's like, if I need to get over to this side of the map real quick, so I'll switch to my wing diver and jetpack over there very quickly. And then, oh, I gotta blow up a giant anthill, so I'll switch to my guy with a missile launcher and take that out in a couple shots. And oh, now there's a big swarm of ants, I'll switch to my machine gun guy and stuff like this. It's cute little things.
Okay.
And there's also a gimmick where as you go through the stages, you'll find other people who are trapped, and you can if you track them down and rescue them, they will join your team, and you can swap out all these different teammates. And then they have a bunch of the ones you start with are like regular EDF looking people, just soldiers with the armor and stuff. And then you start getting like I found like a beef eater, like a England, palace guard, with like the big hat that they wear. And I found a little like Dutch girl, who throws tulips or something. And maybe they should have had someone come through and look at all of them, and because I'm just like, oh, this is kind of cute. And then like,
which side of Punch Out stereotype is it? Is it still on the playful end, or is it on the?
It seems to be on the playful end, but then I unlocked the Amigo brother.
Oh, I did see this, yeah.
Who has a giant sombrero and a poncho, and he's just like, oh, and he's got like an accent that I'm not gonna do, and he's like, I don't want to go fighting now. I'm too tired. I'm gonna take a nap. And like one of his weapons is like a tequila grenade, and I'm just like, oh.
So it's walking that line of Punch Out,
EDF World Brother.
Versus...
Maybe it's more Punch Out Arcade than Punch Out NES.
yeah, a little more. Vodka Drunkinski.
Yeah. A little more vodka Drunkinski
and a little
than Soda Popinski. Yes.
Yeah. They might have.
We need to make a shirt that says that, by the way. just, but the other way, like little more Soda Popinski, little less vodka Drunkinski.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's
a little uncomfortable.
That's not great. But it's, other than a little mild racism, it's cute.
Okay.
A little harmless racism.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they have any Canadians in there.
Right?
Goodness. Yeah, that's the real.
I'd be afraid if you unlock that.
Yeah. But I mean, other than some slightly questionable choices in terms of sensitivity, it's a cute game.
Okay.
It's like you were saying, definitely certainly geared towards the younger players. So, but yeah,
I'm still waiting for EDF to take off in the West. Like I feel like From Software's, it probably won't.
I don't think if it hasn't happened by now, it's not happening.
Yeah. Like From Software did the thing where basically they remade the same game like 10 different times, and eventually it became Bloodborne, Dark Souls, where people liked it. I'm waiting for like that to happen to EDF, or if it'll happen.
See, I feel like it's more like along the lines of what was From's other? Remember their mech series, Armored Core?
Oh yeah,
which always came here and had a very devoted following, but didn't really have mass appeal.
Right? Yeah,
reminds me more of that.
Yeah. It's a different developer too. It's not
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, because it's who's the standard?
Well, they wander, or they like bounce around. It's sort of like Call of Duty, where
the good EDF games,
those are done by Sandlot.
Sandlot, yeah. Because there's been a few kind of crappy EDF games that were done by other developers, like what is it, Iron Rain. And there's another one that's kind of crappy, but Sandlot makes relative speaking, good EDF games.
Yeah,
they're always super janky, but that's kind of their charm.
Part of the charm.
but this one is done by Ukes, actually.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah,
Ukes,
yeah.
wow.
So can you
There's
like do
a
an elbow
wrestling
drop on
mini-
the giant ants?
There's
Or?
a wrestling mini game in the middle of it.
Yeah. Although, actually, boy, I'm looking at it now. I guess, did Ukes do Iron Rain? Looks like Ukes might have done Iron Rain, because Iron Rain was not good.
Oh,
But this one's pretty good. So maybe they
okay.
learned. Maybe they're getting better, or maybe they needed like a kidified version.
I see.
And that's their wheelhouse on EDF games. But yeah, that's all I've been playing, really.
Okay. Well, I have been playing a game called Dread Hunger. And it was my birthday last week, by the way. Thank you.
CJ's
for all your
old now.
wishes. I'm old now, yeah. And Greg's best friend, Mike, got me a copy of Dread Hunger. It's a Steam
By the way, I
early
heard
access
you're not sailing
game.
very often.
I'm not. That's correct.
There was I fielded complaints about that the other day.
Complaints.
Not really
I don't have
complaints.
as much time.
It was mentioned.
Has your job responsibilities now kept you off the high seas?
That's right. Exactly.
Oh boy.
Can't sail as much.
Greg, how long before CJ quits his job so he can go back to pirating?
I give it a month.
That's not happening.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next big content drop. That's what it'll be.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Dread Hunger. So this is a Steam early access game made by, I think, a small studio, but it's a survival social deception game. So kind of like Among Us or that type of game where you have an 8-player team, like game, and you get to choose. It's not piratey, but there is an ocean voyage involved.
Oh, well, that's enough.
Yeah. Close enough.
So close enough. Yeah. They're not pirates, but they are bringing goods and services across the ocean. And
that seems like kind of anti-pirate.
Yeah, that's the opposite of pirate.
Okay, yeah, that's opposite.
Merchant?
Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds better.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you choose
a privateer?
A position on the ship, and you have 8 players in a lobby, and 2 of them are traders.
I can see why I bought it for you.
Or like thralls or Throns is what they're called, something like that. Anyway, can't remember exactly what they're called because I was not a trader in the game that we played, but and Mike was, and killed everybody. So it's a survival game in that you have to like leave the ship, and it takes place in the Arctic, so you have to kind of go around scavenging materials and cooking food and constructing weapons and tools to get more supplies and stuff for the ship, and you have to deliver coal back to the ship for the furnace to be able to like progress the ship. And it's the job of the regular crew to get the ship to its destination, and the 2 traders to make sure that doesn't happen. And they can do different things, like you can just go ahead and shoot the other players if you want, or you can use these special items to summon creatures that will attack the other players and things like that. And your whole thing is not to be discovered or found out.
And it's all in the Arctic?
It's in the Arctic, yeah.
Oh,
so this is an early access game. I think there's only like 1 or 2 levels in there now, but it's pretty interesting. It's quite janky looking.
Okay.
But it's pretty fun.
So they're like icebergs and stuff. You gotta
there are ice flows that you have to like bounce around.
Okay.
You can't, like, somebody does have to steer the ship around, and you don't want to steer it into icebergs because
I saw a movie about that. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it you can cut through the thin ice, but not the thicker flows. So
that's what you're always dropping at the club when you're up on the mic. You're dropping those thick flows.
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Well, I know. Can you get a bunch of penguins to add to your crew?
You can't, but you can kill seals for food.
How come you can't get any penguins, CJ?
Seals and wolves. And,
CJ, why can't you get penguins, CJ?
I don't know.
Because penguins are Antarctic. Penguins live in the Antarctic, not in the Arctic.
I read earlier on our chat
Read
that
a
Jeff
damn
Grubb
book.
invited a bunch of people to watch our show tonight, and I'm sure they're gone by now. So
there you go.
And if they weren't, they are now.
But anyway, so Dread Hunger, really interesting sort of social deception game. that where you have it kind of reminds me of
Among
Friday
Us?
the 13th, really, because there
sorry.
are multiple
Oh,
ways
there it is.
for things
Friday the 13th
to go your
plus
way.
Sea of Thieves.
An asymmetrical sort of
CJ
multiplayer
just
game.
filled the cup.
I know, right?
Why would you do that just as I was taking a drink?
But yeah, it's pretty interesting time. There was one lobby that I joined, and some guy was doing a Mickey Mouse impression.
Because all he's thinking about is
Some guy was doing a Mickey Mouse impression.
boy.
On exactly that, and I was like, "Oh, Phil bought this too."
Where are all my penguins at?
But he was working blue. He was very lewd.
Oh boy,
in his language.
That's the best version of Mickey Mouse.
That's right.
So there you
Farts
go. All
and
right.
boobs.
And then the other thing I want to mention is that Funko Pop, they finally got me. They finally did it. Those bastards did it. They introduced the Funko Pop that I even I wanted to get, and I did order it. Sly Cooper Funko Pop, and it's a GameStop /EB Games exclusive.
Oh man,
that ought to keep them in business for another few weeks.
Yeah, they got my $15.
There it is. There it is. You're not only
Plus
are you buying
shipping.
Funko Pops now, you're buying exclusive ones.
Apparently, yeah, I had to get that one because it looks awesome. It's a Sly on a little perch thing there, like with this little hook. Yeah,
with his. Does the hook have a name?
I don't know.
Bird,
but I don't know the name.
Does
of
this hook not have a name? Does it actually have a name?
It probably does.
Okay.
Probably has like an official name, but
okay.
I'm sure it does because it's the focus of at least one of the games. It's handed down through generations and everything, isn't it? Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So
it's one of
that's your magic hook, Sly. I think that's it's the magic hook. Here's the real question: are you going to leave it in its box as so many?
I don't know.
Pop
I might
do?
not. I might not. If I have a good place to put it, I'll take it out of the box.
I got a good place.
I can think of a good place to put it.
Yeah, you're going to want to protect your around it, though. No.
I hope. No,
that would be
okay.
It was your butt.
Oh,
it was up your butt.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Goodness me.
No.
Well, good. Congratulations. I'm glad.
Anyway, so yeah, I got a Funko Pop.
Phil doesn't know what that's like.
Wow, I've purchased many toys.
He's about a toy in almost 24 hours.
It's been
This
a couple
is the
days.
first time in a little while that the last one was The Office Little People.
The Office
we talked about that on this show.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Oh.
He's looking for them. You can't find them.
He's already lost them.
Let's see. Right there on the floor.
Here, I have.
All right.
In the box on the floor?
I have
the box
Godzilla
on the floor.
right here. There's little Godzilla. There he is.
Nice. All right. So I guess that means it's time for tweets.
This is the part where we answer the tweets that people have sent into the show. This is the part where we tell you
This is awful.
all the things you want to know.
All right, Hacker Alias Namva.
Okay.
Namva.
I was doing a
Namva?
little. I was doing a little market research lately.
Says
You'd
that,
be surprised how
E3
few podcast listeners know who Bobby Day is.
What about the Jackson 5?
Yeah, but I don't have a tweet song for the Jackson 5.
All right, Hacker Alias Namva says E3 is a few short weeks away.
Easy as reading tweets.
Hey, Phil, shut up.
No,
this tweet is from a few weeks ago. So let's begin the traditional discussion of what y'all hope to see and wish is revealed. So E3 predictions, wishes. Let's go.
New video games.
I want Gran Turismo 7 to come out this year.
Oh my!
It won't.
That's not.
But
happening.
I want it to.
That's not happening.
You
were mentioning Wargroove earlier. Why not a new Advance Wars? Just like they could even Nintendo's thing. You know, they did the Crypt of the Necrodancer. They did the Cadence of Hyrule thing. They got an indie team to do like a Zelda game. Why not get the Wargroove team to do a new Advance Wars? That'd be fun.
That would be great.
Yeah. I want Rogue Legacy 2 to get an announcement for consoles. I want it to come to consoles at some
There you
point.
go.
I would play it if it came to consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like. What else would I like? Another new
What
Ratchet and
else?
Clank game.
Another Ratchet.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
The next Friday, man.
But Sony's-
Friday.
Sony's not at E3 there, Phil.
I don't care.
You just want it to happen.
I just want it.
Hey, how about
Yeah.
Mega Man Powered Up on the Switch?
There you go.
Oh,
There it is. We were just
Yeah.
talking about that.
Larrabee Locke.
So recently.
yeah.
What else?
You know what?
I-
Actually, in all seriousness, what I would love to see, and I doubt this will happen because Square Enix just announced the Dragon Quest III remake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to hear something about some Final Fantasy remakes, in particular
Yeah.
4 and 6.
I
I want them to
that
stop
is
acting
weird.
like those games don't exist anymore.
That would be nice. That would
Yeah.
be preferable,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
I want. See, the other thing I really want is another Sony thing,
What?
and that's not going to happen at E3.
like
What's that?
Well, it's an Astrobot game. I want an Astrobot.
Oh,
yeah,
I want,
okay.
I want them to announce a new Astrobot game,
Yeah.
Right.
like a full
be good.
Astrobot game. Astrobot
I want
64.
Microsoft to announce the imminent release of something that I'm really going to want to play on my Series X.
When's that Flight Sim coming out?
Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
should
when
come out
is
this
Flight
summer.
Sim coming out?
The Xbox
EJ?
version. Yeah. Yeah. Why
That
would
would be
I
great.
know that?
You know what? That would be Why
You're
would
the
you know
leader.
that?
Because he's the leader.
Why would I know that? They,
No,
they
you know
did
what?
say
That
that's
would be a
coming
great
this summer,
announcement.
and they just did put out a PC like a patch that cut the file size by like half.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
So it's
they
only
might
half your hard drive now.
instead of like 180 gig, it's like
Oh,
80
my.
gig now. So
That was my computer could never run it, but at least you got to sit there for a few hours while it installed
Oh, look at
before
this.
you
We're getting-
found out it wouldn't work.
We're getting hot deets. We're getting hot E3 deets from Jeff Grubb himself in our chat.
Flight
He
Sim is
says
coming
Flight
console.
Sim
Yeah,
coming
To
later this
consoles?
year. Consoles later this year.
I'm sure he means Series S and Series X.
It'll get
right?
announced at E3. I don't know.
There you go, though. I want a shadow drop. I want it at E3.
Yeah,
Maybe
it sounds
You
like
know?
we're getting closer to Psychonauts 2 stuff because they just had a Game Informer
okay.
cover, and
Are you excited about Psychonauts 2?
I am excited about Psychonauts 2. Yeah, I thought what we saw at PAX
I mean, I have the
2
toothbrush.
years ago was
have you been using that
impressive.
toothbrush?
but no.
Yeah, we can tell.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, you
Yeah,
said
your
it.
jaw should drop open in shocked amusement.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Yikes!
Go to
All
bed.
right, let's do another tweet.
Who, me?
Let's do
No.
this one from Hacker Elias, the Boss Room, who says, after beating Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was reminded of
Love
how
you,
much
haha.
a game's soundtrack can influence my enjoyment of it.
Yes.
Do you consider a game's music something that can make or break the playthrough for you? And what is your single favorite gaming soundtrack of all time?
Ollie.
Oh, that's
Mine
tough.
Jeez.
is the soundtrack for the remake of Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. Final Fantasy VII Remake OST is closing in, though.
It's very good. Final Fantasy VII Remake music is fantastic. You know, I can't play Mega Man 2 or 3 without humming along to the music.
Oh man.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's physically impossible for me to do so.
They're great.
Um,
Great soundtracks.
Yeah.
Batman on the NES is another one.
Oh, that is another good one.
Streets of Rage 2. I
Original
couldn't
Streets of
pick one.
Rage.
I couldn't pick a
So good.
favorite.
Yeah.
Tetris on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
I really like Final Fantasy VI's soundtrack. That's
All the
some
Final
of the
Fantasy
best.
soundtracks were fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But the Super Nintendo ones in general, just something about that composition and that sound chip. They made it really
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Super Nintendo, ActRaiser is another one that has an
Or
incredible
anything-
soundtrack on that system.
Anything Zelda. I got
Mhm.
when I used to buy CDs, which I don't really do anymore. I used to buy all of the Zelda soundtrack CDs I could get, including
Right.
like the Symphonic Suite and Majora's
yeah, yeah.
Mask and Ocarina of Time and like all all of that stuff. I think I have the Wind Waker soundtrack. The Zelda games are right up there as my favorites.
What was the question?
There were two. I think we talked about our favorite soundtracks of all time, but then the other part of the question was, do you consider a game's music something that can make or break a playthrough for you?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if it can make or break. If a game is fantastic, just in terms of controls and level design and graphics and everything like that, but the soundtrack is not the best,
Yeah.
it's not going to make me dislike the game. You know, the music, at least for me, does not affect my view of the game enough to make a game that's really great in every other aspect not great because I
But
don't like the soundtrack.
but on the flip side of that, something
Yes.
that's relatively mediocre, if it has a great soundtrack, does that help your enjoyment?
Not really. Not really. I don't know if I've ever played through a game solely for the
I'm not saying
soundtrack.
that it would make you
But-
play something you hate through to
Right.
completion. What I'm saying is something that is okay. You enjoy it,
Yeah, yeah.
but the soundtrack, even like, and not even saying that the soundtrack would stand alone as something great, but that it fits the
Right.
game so perfectly, or it creates the atmosphere so perfectly, or
Yeah,
something
I
like
mean,
that.
I don't know. I guess I just don't notice a game's soundtrack that
Okay.
much unless it is exceptionally good or exceptionally bad.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly there are games whose soundtracks I remember, and yes, they will enhance a fantastic game. VVVVVV is a game I really, really enjoy.
There's another game where I just played through recently that I
Yeah.
had trouble playing without humming along to the music.
But yeah, playing that game with the soundtrack enhances it
A lot.
tremendously because
Yeah.
it is such a good soundtrack.
And that's kind of the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's a really good game
and
that I would
yes.
probably want to play anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
but the soundtrack makes it that much better. And I would think
The Scott Pilgrim game,
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun game, but the soundtrack makes it like 10 times better.
But thinking about something like stereotypical, but like old Genesis games
Yeah.
that use the Gems sound engine, which are the ones that generally sounded like really farty, and you know what I mean, like just
Right,
didn't sound good. And I'm not saying that type of audio would turn me off from a great game, but it
Right.
definitely hurt my opinion, and did hurt my desire to play some of those games, just because it's like it
Yeah.
just sounded so bad.
Here's one. Ys Book 1 and 2. The original, the first two
Mhm.
Ys games are, playing them these days, they are very simplistic, very
Yeah.
basic. There's not a lot to them. The combat system, where it's that bump mechanic, it's it's not a super fantastic gameplay nowadays, but I can still play Ys Book 1 and 2, like the original, like TurboGrafx version, and still have a blast. And a lot of it is because that soundtrack is
Mhm.
wonderful. The Ys
Yep.
Ys soundtracks are pretty much always great, but man, Ys Book 1 and 2, that soundtrack is seared into my head. So
Yeah.
so you know what? Yes, I take it back.
There you
Yes, it has. I've
Yeah.
convinced myself.
There you go.
Yeah. But those Astrobot games have really good soundtracks too. I'm just
That
saying.
is absolutely
Oh boy.
true.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
you haven't
that
even played-
GPU song.
Well, yeah,
Also,
that's catchy as hell. And CJ, you haven't even played the VR game, have you?
The
No.
VR game soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh.
yeah.
I don't think it's as good as Playroom,
You know what though?
but it's really good.
the cave
Yeah.
theme is
I bought the vinyl anyway. I listen to it all the time.
The cave themes, I think, is better than any of the Playroom themes.
Oh wow.
Huh.
But
Okay.
but as a whole, the Playroom might have a better
The
soundtrack.
GPU song is the be all end all for me. There's just
It's great.
nothing
really good.
tops it.
Yeah, it's really good. And we need more songs about computers being in love.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
just in I'm not just saying in games. I mean in general.
Just in
Reboot
general.
the that
Electric Dreams.
film.
Electric Dreams. Where's a new Electric Dreams?
There you go.
I'd be all for it.
Me too. All right, I think that's the show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bye everyone. Look, I made the outro.
You made the
shorter.
outro shorter. Done.
You've been
All right.
wanting this, right?
I have. You're right. Yeah.
There it is.
Alrighty, that's a show for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters or go to our internet website, player1podcast.com. There you'll find all sorts of Sega stuff. You'll find from Greg Seward. That's the Sega stuff you'll find there. He's posting it, either a blog entry or a Generation 16 episode.
Yeah.
You'll also find show notes and links to all the things we talked about during this episode, and a link to our Discord server where we can discuss this episode with us and other listeners. And we'll probably do like a E3
never mind.
chats. And
We're not doing live snark, are we?
I don't think we're doing any live snark, but
Okay.
No.
come by our Discord server, and I'm sure we'll be watching the various conferences and talking
Live
about
tape snark.
live to
There it
tape
is.
snark.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting theplayer1podcast.com. Actually, just player1podcast.com. There's no "the" at the beginning of that.
That's true.
Yeah, you can also load up your favorite podcast listening device. We're also on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the YouTubes.com/P1 Podcast. There is the there. /P1 Podcast. Or you can watch us do our show live most weeks at 5:30 specific time on the Twitters, on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, on the Twitch.televisions. Wherever you have an internet, you will find the Player One Podcast doing its thing. And if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Someone here just fell down the Funko Pop hole, and we all know.
Next week, I want that wall floor to
That
ceiling
wall.
Funko Pop boxes.
The CJ's room is going to look like a hot topic next week, folks. So please look forward to that.
Yeah.
He's going to have so many of those darn things.
Truth.
He's gonna choke that little, what is that, amiibo on the shelf behind you right now?
Yeah, it's
that
Amiibo right now.
That shelf is getting thrown away. We're gonna have floor to ceiling Funko Pops, and CJ needs your financial help to make his collection complete. So please,
so.
no, I'm kidding, of course, but your Patreon dollars do help support our show, helps keep us streaming here on our Melon app, all those backdoor behind the scenes costs of running a podcast. And not for nothing, but if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
Cheap.
you also gain access to a special weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this, where we play games, crack wise, have fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. We got a game this week.
We do, yes.
What do we have?
Another
What do we have?
Jeopardy game.
Oh, is it a themed one? Because last time was a Sega one.
Last
right?
time it was.
And we
This
did,
one,
I think, fairly well.
We did pretty
doesn't-
well.
it doesn't have a theme mentioned,
Okay.
although the URL suggests
Uh-oh.
that maybe it's Mr. Show themed.
I don't know. Well, I think we'll do quite well.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
Don't.
see.
Uh-oh! It says on the cover.
I
Somebody
think
made a
we know
mess.
certain sketches. Today we're gonna blow up.
Oh, it says on the cover.
Notice I said television and not TV, because TV is a nickname, and nicknames are for friends, and
Television is no friend of mine.
All right. All right.
Keep the change.
So please join us for that. if you would like. And hey, you know what? If you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/generation16, where you can help support Greg Stewart's Outstanding. And it is outstanding web series about North America's favorite second banana, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Philip. The new episode's coming along. The script's coming along well. And if you are a supporter of the $5 per episode variety,
Also cheap.
you get access to the weekly vlogs, video blogs. I don't know how to say that right. Called The Weekly Commute, where I talk about the process of creating each episode, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Today, the one that was posted was actually a short tour of the game room downstairs, which people have been asking for. So, yeah, it's not totally completed, but it was complete enough that I thought it was time to show something. So, yeah, please consider supporting the show.
You know, earlier this afternoon, my son and I went for a little walk around the neighborhood, and we passed by a garage that was open, and I stopped because I noticed this guy had a bunch of arcade machines in his garage. He had like Pac-Man and Defender and Missile Command. He had like maybe half a dozen full-size arcade machines.
Nice.
And then I noticed the guy was actually sitting in his garage, wondering why this dude was staring
into his garage.
Yeah. So I shouted down to him, "Hey, don't mind me. I'm just admiring your arcade machines. Also casing the joint. Is your family going on vacation anytime soon? Summer's coming up."
Wow.
But yeah, that was kind of neat. So, but yeah, that's it. CJ.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about what's going on over at Second Player? Is anything going on in Second Player? .net.
Just we can skip it.
We'll skip it.
We'll skip it.
We'll skip it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, CJ.
Thank you, Phil.
Of course. Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well, of course.
Thank you, Philip.
Of course. And of course, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful listeners. Every single one of you. You are the absolute best, the tip top of the Mip Mop. Please be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones, your family, your friends. Please get that vaccine if you are able to. Probably, I think most people are able to at this point now. I think they've kind of opened a lot of that stuff up, at least here in the United States of America. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Wow.
Oh
my God.
I saluted for those of you who are just listening.
I'm sure that's not offensive to anyone.
I saluted my country.
Mm-hmm.
How's that offensive? My goodness. Anyway, take care of yourselves, please. We hope to see you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.